All right, good morning and welcome to today's walkabout. We're going to talk about what nobody else wants to talk about. And right now, that's the problem with AI not making money. So here's the thing, is that right now our economy is being faced with a very sharp piece of news. Most surveys, studies, research projects are finding that right now AI is not able to show a meaningful bottom line impact. We've got companies that are spending millions of dollars on tokens, token maxing, creating AI everything. People are doing all sorts of stuff. We've got reports of some of these companies that are very into the AI first development processes, who basically wanted to be some of the first adopters. What they're finding is that they're actually needing to bring back employees back into the office. You might want to research some of these recent news articles. You can do a quick search and just basically say AI bottom line, or companies that are rehiring because of AI. So what's happened here is that we've got companies that have taken out the ideal strategy. So what's happening here is we've got companies who have really thought that AI was going to be able to do everything on its own, like the intelligence that is programmed into your large language model would directly translate to your business. But when reality comes down to it, all of these models are trained on generics. It's all sort of ideal situations. That's why demos are great. And then when you actually go to implement something directly for your business, it becomes sticky. And this is one of the things that I'm dealing with on a regular basis when I work with my clients and we actually try to figure out how to implement something. A demo is not going to get us very far. And trying to get the information out of the business owners' heads or out of the office managers' heads and into AI becomes extremely challenging. Let's just say that you're walking me through one of your forms and how you fill it out. And you just say, I take this information, it goes here, this information goes here, this information goes here. And I go, no problem. So I do that. And then you say, oh, wait, we normally can't use this part because it is not the piece that the doctor needs to see. So we rewrite it a little bit like this, and we call this thing. Okay, no problem. Now let's loop that 7, 8 times, edge cases, things that we weren't expecting, too short, too tall, pieces that get messed. Anyway, each iteration, you get closer to a goal. But let's just say it takes 10 iterations of this process before that business process gets completed. To me, hey, look, you did 10 of these, now you'll never have to do them again. That's pretty exciting. Maybe it's do 20. But now, if you're the person that's training this and you've got stacks of work backed up, you basically have just done the same thing 10 times. And in real life, you're like, if I was just doing this myself and I forgot AI, I would have done 10 of them already. I'm 10 times faster than AI. And those are the pieces right now that we're really starting to debate. We're trying to figure out, how does this look? How does it look when we get to a spot where we've let go of employees and we want AI to do the job, but AI doesn't really know what the job is? Welcome to today's AI implementation. Because what really needs to take place is that the business owner, the process owner, is going to need to sit down, define out exactly how they're making these decisions, what the decisions mean, where they got the information to make those decisions, and if that's historical information, that's fine. Let's bring that historical information into the context. Let's have that be a participatory part of what we're doing. Great. Let's keep going with that. Now we've got this participatory part where the AI is able to say, after multiple iterations, it can get that right. Let's expand upon that. After they get that right, what is that role doing anymore? Let's say it was a finance role, and they roll that up to the finance manager. Then let's say that finance manager summarizes all the other reports they get, and then they roll that up to their director. Director asks some questions, it trickles back down, trickles back up, and that's the business process. What happens when that first role has become watched for a year? Mouse clicks, keyboard clicks, emails, phone calls. When all of that data is assimilated, summarized, and put into what we call a training manual for AI. Okay, we're starting to get to the story here. Because what happens next? Well, the person who summarized all of those reports also now can be automated. So now you get down to whoever it is that's making decisions on the way things are going to be made based on these reports. How far does that roll up? And then at what point do you feel comfortable trading those off to AI? And that's where we're at. And so when you hear people say that we just don't know what kind of roles or jobs AI is going to need, I'm going to share a little bit of another experience because I think this is going to lead directly to answer those kind of questions. My wife's an occupational therapist, and she ends up spending maybe 30 minutes on a phone call with a family a couple times a day. This is time that she's not reimbursed for. It's to answer questions. It's to, call back in between patients. It's just to make sure that the human side of things is being taken care of. But don't forget that each one of these can come with paperwork that takes an hour, 35 minutes in itself. So you've got to make this trade-off, right? Insurance is making me do this, the company's making me do this, the hospital's requiring this, the wheelchair vendor has to have this done. All of these pieces that need to take time, yet our real goal of a therapist is to assist in the health and benefit of the patient. The patient's real goal should be to benefit and get better and to see increased health. And so when we lose that real goal and we say, oh, we've got to fill out this paperwork, we've got to get these scores, we've got to get documentation, these dates, those all have to happen. That doesn't disappear. And up until now, it's been pretty close to impossible to make that happen. And so with that being said, where I see the human value coming in is where humans get to be human. Nobody else. Can I AI that phone call? Hi, I'm calling about my mom. She's been in the hospital for a couple days, and they say when she comes home, she's not going to be able to walk. My AI could say, sure, tell me about that person. Well, what's her name? Let me look through my client record. Can you tell me your name? We validate that who I'm talking to is on the approved callers list. I answer their question right out of the notepad, right after the dictation, right off of everything that we have there. It's going to be maybe just as good as a human in answering some of those questions. Might eventually get better at answering some of those questions. But here's the thing that I feel like gets missed. That sounded very AI, but it is. It's the thing that I feel like gets missed is that when you're sitting there and your mom is in the hospital and you're trying to ask a question, and then you say, well, we've just gotten through passing of my dad not too long ago, and our car is not big enough to fit her wheelchair in comfortably. These things are something that AI can handle, but we have to just get down to it. Is it something that they should handle? As we get closer and closer to being able to have AI robots or AI doctors that answer these questions, as we get closer to tying systems together, we as humanity, as small business owners, as tech leaders, we all need to be looking at what can we automate, what should we automate. And I think if we goof this up, it'll be pretty clear. I think that's one of the things that'll be clear. And so what I'll talk about in the future is the process of taking what's in inside of the business brain process that then integrates with the software that you're currently using in your team, how to break those steps down, what places you can slice the process so that you can get that flowing smoother. And I don't want to miss that for small businesses, this is going to be a really exciting time for you because you already know what it looks like to have your business run day to day. You already know what payroll looks like. You already know your invoicing situations. The things that you're trying to scale right now don't require letting anybody go. You can scale your business. You can magnify people's roles in such a way that you don't have to let people go. So the opportunity for small businesses right now to scale is going to be incredible. And the challenge for big businesses to be able to make a pivot, and especially this goes out to you software companies, to be able to make a pivot and to bring costs and services down low enough that you're not able to compete. If you try to do it too fast, are you going to be able to compete with somebody who is developing similar like software and they're a team of 3 developers and they just happen to have, somebody on their team who's really into your niche, and then with 3 developers and somebody on their niche, they're developing software that's, listed on the NASDAQ as a competitor. And well, you're still trying to figure out how your software is going to be run when you have a service desk and all of the knowledge is in that service desk member's heads, when your finance department is still trying to figure out how to process orders. In the future, those will all be wrapped into one. Your business will be connected to the way that you think. And when we're getting to that spot, we have a great opportunity for small businesses and small business owners. And we have a real risk for large corporations and corporations who are currently using their process and their software advantages to stay on top. It's one of those things that will continue to shrink over time. Small businesses will be able to compete on a larger scale. Now, all of this can be changed very quickly with the structuring of tokens, with the structuring of legal frameworks. We don't know what the future is going to hold, but we can say is that AI is continuing to make life interesting. And for all of our sakes, the whole government has, the financial markets, they have decided that they're all in on AI. How's that going to play out? I can't tell you. But I can tell you, if you're a small business owner, the tools there and the opportunities there are going to be really exciting over the next handful of months to the next handful of years. And if you have a desire to start a side gig, if you have the inclination to start building tools, if you already have a product or a company that you're running and you're trying to take it to the next level, let's take a look at how AI tools can assist you. And as we go through the next handful of weeks, my videos will get geared more and more to here's something that you can do. And then I'll have hands-on videos where you can actually do it yourself. I'll walk you through the tools, the costs, how to set it up, the architecture, the structures that I use, how that you can have your own process improvement plan that will continually make your business run smoother, and how you can build your own software and how you can cut back on your subscription costs. If those types of things are interesting to you, I'm going to be here on a regular basis. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I try to read each one of them. Talk to you then.